Hi everyone and welcome to Club 4, Episode 1 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM22 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. So yes, we have moved clubs again. Club number 4. We were previously at Colwyn Bay. We got them to the top of the table in the second tier of Wales. I felt like I'd probably take them as far as I could go, and I didn't want a dip in my reputation if we were to go up a division and really struggle for a season. So I was on the lookout for another job. And an old favourite of mine from the previous Rolling in the Isles became an available position. I applied for it, and now we're at Connor's Quay Nomads. Let's go do this. Welcome back to Connor's Quay Nomads. Still in Wales, still in the top flight of Welsh football, absolutely. But I think with a potentially a better prospect to do something here. There's a couple of very, very good clubs that are ahead of us in the pecking order. But let's straight away go into the league table. You can see nobody's played a match yet. And go into the season preview. You'll see that we're sitting in 5th. In terms of what people expect. Easy too. We're in the Euro Cup 2. We'll talk about that in a second. But there are a couple of things that are worth noting here. One, Colwyn Bay came up, as we've talked about in the intro. We bought them up last season. Since moved on from them. They're sitting in 9th out of 12th. So potential there for them not to get back down again straight away, which is good. Let's hope that they can manage that. There's a few teams that could struggle beneath them. So in theory, maybe I could come up with them and do something with them, but I felt like there was a bit of a rebuild that needed. I didn't think the squad was particularly fantastic for this level of football. So I decided to seek pastures new, let's say, and we found it at Connor's Quay Nomads. As I say, we were in there, this club in our previous version of Rolling in the Isles, so it's interesting to be back. I think they're a little bit further down than what I expected of them. In real terms, they've been quite successful recently, but they've obviously dropped off the pace a little bit. And the big key thing to notice is that the new Saints are 10-1 odds on favourites, and 10 of the 11 in the media dream team come from the new Saints. That says a lot, doesn't it, really? Interestingly, though, the one that's not part of the new Saints, Johnson up top, plays for Connor's Quay Nomads. We have brought the young striker with us from Colwyn Bay. Thomas Johnson did so well for us last season, is a really good striker for this sort of level of football. And at 17, he's still improving all the time. And he comes in and immediately becomes, even at this level, in the Premier Division, even at this level, becomes pretty much my best player. So that was pretty great to be able to do that. If we go and have a look at his history just a little bit, you can see at this level, it's all about free transfers and moving around because they're all on part-time contracts and other bits and pieces. 27 goals in 29 games for us at Colwyn Bay last season. What can he do for us this season? Let's find out on that one. So that was an interesting deal. Just very quickly, because a lot of these players won't mean anything to us anyway, because it's all brand new. We bought 4 players in the end. I got rid of a few here and there, but we bought 4 players in. And the basic thought was the defence was lacking. Fullbacks were really lacking, and I needed another central defender. So we bought Joel Ward in. He's going to be my rotating choice in the right fullback position. Again, these are not very good players necessarily, but they're okay for the level that we're playing at. 21 years old. Matty Williams, another we bought with us from Colwyn Bay. Again, he's got some gaps, but when I was looking around for a central defender, this was basically as good as I could find. So I thought, well, why not? He didn't do great for me at Colwyn Bay. I'm hoping that with a little bit more game time, he will be a first choice central defender for us. Maybe he can sort that out for me this season. And the final one was Callum Roberts, a left-sided fullback. As I say, our defence was the issue. And this guy will play a reasonable amount for us. He's more consistent across all of his attributes from 7 through till 10 across the attributes than his other option at left fullback. So he'll probably play a fair amount. But again, not a fantastic player, but okay, should do the job for us. But it's all about the new Saints in this division. And there's another 3 clubs above us in the pecking order as well. Can we get past a couple of them and push higher up into these top 3? Let's find out as the season goes on. But interestingly, we were in the Euro Cup 2 when I entered the club. And I say were, schedule-wise, if we go and have a look, you'll see right at the top here, the first game against KA that the club had was a 2-1 loss. And I came in after that game because that's what basically lost the job for the previous guy, I think. We played the second leg and we tried, but of course it's a brand new club to me. It's a brand new bunch of players all trying to fit in together and figure out what to do. And we lost that game 1-0 away from home. Unfortunately, all the hard work against us was done in the first leg. And so ultimately we lose out of our European spot. It's just one of those things. We have got through in the cup, the Welsh Cup though, one of the Welsh Cups, 2-0 against Barlow, which was a really fantastic result. This is a team that in theory is supposed to be better than us in the league. So not a bad start at all. But you can see once he came into the club, Thomas Johnson hat-trick. He's been scoring goals in the pre-season friendlies. Let's see if he can do that now that we get into the competitive action. Carmarthen are the first up for us in the league. If we go and check back into the league and go back into the season preview, you will see that Carmarthen are sitting down in 7th position in terms of the potential rankings for the season. So a decent enough start for us. But Colwyn Bay, who we've previously managed, we don't play them until right at the end of the season in a double header, away and then home in the league. That's a bit of an odd one. Normally it's balanced across the season, but right at the end of the season we play both of those games. Might have to play a double header on that episode. We'll have to wait and see. Till then, though, we've got lots of games to play through, a couple of cup competitions, I think, to go through. It's all going to be pretty fun. I think that we can do okay this season. If we could get into that top 3, I'd be really, really pleased with that. But for now, let's go and see how we do against Carmarthen. So I feel that over the next couple of seasons that we're here, I can definitely improve this squad as we move forward. You can see, if you go by star ratings, and you probably shouldn't, they're not as accurate as they should be, really. But if you do go by them, you can see that defensively, in terms of what we've got in this squad, we're a little bit weak, other than Bodenham, who is our central defender. And he's okay. I mean, defensively speaking, he's not fantastic, but in terms of his mentals and his physicals, other than a little bit of pace, he's actually not too bad at all. So we're going to expect big things from him from this season. Easy for me to say, at the back there. In terms of midfield, Pinchard is one of our 2 central midfield players. And if we go and have a look at him, he's pretty good, really. Vision is 12, passing is 12, technique of 12. He's got free kicks and corners of 12 as well. So it's going to be important for us. And a little bit of pace at 12 as well, which at this level is kind of really important. So I think he's going to be decent for us. And the other one that we're going to look at, because, of course, Thomas Johnson is the superstar of the show that we've already had a look at, having brought him with us from Colwyn Bay, is Lewis Lloyd, who is the central striking partner of Thomas Johnson. And this guy, not fantastic, to be honest, but he's as good as we've got in the club. And they've linked up pretty well in the pre-season friendly. So I'm hopeful that they might develop an understanding. We've got a reasonably good balanced squad now, though, that I've brought 3 defenders in, 2 fullbacks and a central defender. So I think that the squad is pretty balanced. And we'll just have to see exactly how we get on as we move through this season, really. But it should be a pretty interesting one. So for the first game, with an injury to Ryan Barrett, who is our number 1 choice at right fullback, with him out injured, what I'm also going to do actually is put in Roberts at left fullback instead of Hughes. But we're going to go in with Park in goal. We've got Ward at right back, Roberts at left back, Williams and Bodenham in central defence, Berry and Pinchard in central midfield, Reese on the right, Bowers on the left, and Johnson and Lloyd up top, with a bench of Amos, Hughes, Cullimore, Fitzpatrick, Mitchell, Whiteside and Candy. Just so you're aware, I don't know who this guy is, but somebody out there might do. Reese has been at the club for a few seasons, started off at Cardiff. I've had to take away his second name just because it might be deemed a little bit inappropriate in terms of words if you pronounce it correctly, and I didn't want to have to go through that on all of my different episodes. So I've taken it away and he just becomes Reese on the right-hand side. Maybe I'll tell you what his second name is. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But ask me about it in the comments and we'll see. But anyway, that's an aside. This is what we've gone with. In terms of how we're going to play, it's fairly simple. We're going to try and use the wide areas and get some crosses in the box for Johnson specifically. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So we're away from home, but they're below us in the pre-season rankings. And ultimately, I just want to get off to a good start. So I've pumped the fists and I've said, I expect a win tonight. And we'll see what happens with that, whether we get it or not. It's about trying to poke the players a little bit in terms of trying to see what their mental capacities are and whether you can be a bit more up in their face and push them a little bit, or whether they need a bit of a softly approach. We'll just get used to them as the time of this season progresses. But for now, it's just about putting them on the pitch and seeing what they can do. So it'll be an interesting game. Carmarthen, I'm sure, will be as up for it as for a new season as we are. And we'll have to wait and see. We're in our red kit, so just so you know who we're following for this particular game. And it's Carmarthen that have worked an opportunity down their right-hand side, but we sort it out and then boot it clear. And unfortunately, that gives it straight back to them and they get to rebuild and attack through the centre of the pitch. And that's very good. They've passed through the lines very well. They get through to the goalkeeper, but slightly wide of the goal. And they tried to cut it across him, but he manages to block it out for a corner. Corner comes in and just about we get that away. But we do get it away, and Johnson drops in and gets involved in the play, holds up the play nicely, waits for a bit of support, and then is hacked down by the defender who's given a yellow card for it. And the next highlight is a corner kick for us at the near post, which goes off the crossbar into that near post area. And it goes clattering the crossbar, and then they get it partially cleared out for a throw in, I think it was at that point. But the highlight goes, you can see that chances are being created, 4 for them, 2 for us. They've had a bit more possession. Both XG ratings, the expected goals of the game, are very low at the moment, so the chances aren't brilliant. But it just becomes about who's going to break the deadlock first, really, if either of us going to, and how that's going to come about. So 25 minutes in, it's a little bit, the highlights have gone, let's say, but the interesting thing is they've picked up 3 yellow cards already. We are now above them in terms of how many shots we've had. So we are in the game quite consistently. Bowers on that left-hand side getting involved, whips the cross in, but over the top of everybody. Reese picks the ball up again and recycles possession for us. Pinchard drops it back to Ward, back into Pinchard in midfield. He's going to be key for us. He's going to be the link-up for most things that we do, I think, in midfield. And that's a really poor pass, and it's intercepted, and they go long quite quickly. The goalkeeper has to come and head that ball clear, which he did pretty well, and we win possession from it. Reese with a first-time through ball for Johnson, through on goal, and he hooks it over the top of the bar. Just probably needed to take a few more steps into the box and try and draw a defender tackle, I think, but didn't quite manage that. And that's probably going to see us out for the first half. It was an okay first half. We've done pretty well in getting our shots away, not so well in putting them on target, and not so well on getting enough highlights, really, for us to see. So we've got to improve the quality a little bit, but we're very much in the game still. So if we go in at half-time and we just, again, push them a little bit, let's go and point the finger. It's time for everyone to dig in and let's see what they've got. And we're going to go back out into the shouts and fire them up for this second half. See whether we can get any form of performance from them in the early stages. We're in a positive mentality on the wide play, trying to whip those balls in. If that doesn't work, of course we can change it up. Nothing is set in stone here at all. But I just thought, because of the success that Connah's Quay Nomads have had in real terms recently, they're not a bad outfit. There's a certain expectation that they should be up there or thereabouts in terms of the league. So let's stick them in the positive mentality and see whether we can start to dominate a couple of games and get some momentum behind us. But as I say, if that needs to change, we can change it. Pinchard again, and there is one of the stars of our show. Harry Pinchard in midfield, along with Johnson, is recognised as the two best players in our squad, and he's just demonstrated there. That's really good work. Lloyd, one of our strikers, out wide, getting involved in play, helping out. Berry drops it across to Pinchard, left-footed, hooks the ball at the goal from quite a distance, gets it over the top of the goalkeeper into that far corner from where he struck it from, and we do take a 1-0 lead. And I think we've kind of deserved it in terms of the chances created. The XG rating now suggests that as well. Let's see if we can capitalise on it. A Carmarthen goal kick into midfield, which they do win possession from and maintain it. And now they're passing it fairly nicely in midfield. There's a ball over the top on the left-hand side for them. We've got a defender out there. Can we hold them up a bit? We do, but it goes into midfield where they got some space. They go for the long shot and it goes slightly over the top of the bar. So we can breathe a sigh of relief on that one. 77 minutes in. I've left it slightly longer than probably I should have, but we're going to go and make a couple of changes and put some fresh legs on. You can see, especially midfield, we certainly seem to be slightly out on our feet. So Reece comes out and Reece Mitchell goes in instead. We're going to take both wingers off because they do a lot of hard work for us. And then we either take Boddenham off, but he's really good at the back. I think what we're probably going to do is take Berry off in central midfield, put possibly Fitzpatrick on instead, and just improve the energy levels in our central midfield. I think that's what we're going to do. So let's see how that works out for us. With 10 minutes to play, plus a little bit of injury time, we're in an okay position, but it's a fairly on a knife edge kind of position where if they could get a chance, they could come back in the game. They seem to have gone quite defensive, though, for today. So for this last section of the game, should I say. So maybe that'll help us out. Pinchard on the ball again, this time down the left-hand side of the penalty box, and draws another tackle in, and that's a second yellow card for a player that's already been booked, and MJ Williams gets sent off for Carmarthen. That should settle the game down for us for the last few minutes, but they've been playing quite defensive over the last little section of the game, trying to not concede another one rather than trying to come out at us. And ultimately it showed, because the game kind of just went a bit quiet, but we ended up with a very good 1-0 win for the first game out in a season. 15 shots a goal, 8 on target, 1.3 XG rating, 55% of the possession. Our pass completion at 79%, I'd like to see an improvement in. Other than that, I think we did pretty well for day one. So a decent result, 3 points on the board, very good start, which is good with me. We're going to spend the next section of August just getting used to the players a little bit. We've got a couple of tricky games coming up. The likes of the new Saints in here are going to always be difficult because they're odds-on favourites for the title this season, remember. So we're going to have to watch out for them. But we're actually not going to play that on the episode. That's a little bit too close to where we currently are. We're going to just leave it a little bit and come back and probably play Bangor City, I would imagine, at the beginning of September. Maybe Newtown, something like that, depending on how fixtures are going, etc., and where we're at. And I'll be able to update you on everything that's going on at that point. But for the rest of August, it's just about, as I say, getting used to the players, figuring out the tactic, making sure that it's working for the best that it can, tweaking it a little bit here and there, and just getting the players off to a good start, which we've done pretty well. I mean, we've already got that win in the cup competition. Now we've got a win in the league as well. We had a good bunch of friendly matches after the little bit of a disappointment that the club went through in the Euro Cup. So it started well. Let's see if we can maintain that a little bit and see if we can get some decent results against the likes of the New Saints and Barla as the month wears on. So come and join me for the Bangor City match. It'll probably be that one, I imagine, that we come back to. Until then, thank you for joining me today. Brand new club, brand new part of the series. It's always interesting to move on and see where that leads us. I think we're going to do okay. Let's see. But thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode. That'll help me get seen by more people. Go check all the links in the description below to things like my Twitter, my Twitch stream there where we meet every weekday, 3 till 5 p.m. UK time over on Twitch. Come and find me over there. Until next time here, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.